Welcome back to the show. All right. So it's something that's been on the tip of our tongues and the front of our minds, perhaps since the beginning of this pandemic. And it's certainly something that a lot of us have been experiencing burnout. So our next guest is going to teach us how to recognize it, manage it, and certainly alleviate it as we head into the holiday season. We welcome back our very, very good friend. He is psychologist Adisa Azubuike. Welcome back to the show, Adisa.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Welcome.
Okay, so let's discuss the word burnout. I feel like a lot of people use it and maybe to capture a lot of different scenarios or circumstances, but what
Okay.
is the true definition of a burnout?
Okay. Burnout is recognized by the World Health Organization as an occupational phenomenon. It basically is a syndrome that comes from chronic work stress that has not been managed properly. There are three main symptoms: feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, or negativity and cynicism of one's job, and reduced professional effectiveness. Burnout is mostly job related or task related. So, for example, in my opinion, then we can have parental burnout, we can have
Hmm.
home life burnout when it's a task oriented.
I feel like a lot of people saw that list. I'm sure people watching at home were just like, yes, yes, and yes. So, as a psychologist, though, have you noticed the rates of burnout increasing since the beginning of the pandemic?
Yes, unfortunately, in my work, I've seen increased examples of burnout. And I want to add one: COVID pandemic burnout. We have seen increased
Mm.
burnout in our first responders, our healthcare professionals, our essential workers, our elderly caregivers, our teachers, and our parents. I mean, we all, in some respects, have seen it in our personal and professional lives. So, yes.
Let's talk about working from home. Has that, which a lot of people have had to shift to or have been lucky to shift to in some ways, but has that impacted how burnout is playing out now?
In my opinion, working from home has not really shifted how burnout looks like. It has just contributed to its secrecy, if you will. You don't have as many colleagues seeing your signs of burnout when you're not in at work. So you can hide. You could play well when on a Zoom call for a while. You can, as many companies allow you to do, you can black out your screens so that people don't see you and see signs of how tired you look or how listless you may look. So working from home has really further blurred the lines between work and home life. And for some people, it has thoroughly eliminated it.
So, I think a lot of these symptoms may feel familiar to many of us, but let's break them down. What is the difference between stress, fatigue, and burnout? Let's talk stress first.
Stress and fatigue and burnout are often interchangeably used, but stress is defined as the body's reaction to any change that causes an adjustment or response. Stress is a normal part of life, it happens daily, and it can be either detrimental or beneficial. Fatigue is more about feeling overtiredness and feeling overworked, and it's often temporary, whereas burnout encapsulates all of them. And burnout has a chronicity, and it's about exhaustion, negativity, and cynicism, and it's chronic, work related, task
Mm.
related, and it can be extremely deleterious.
So, okay, we don't want to get to these points. Like we don't want to have to push ourselves over the edge. So what are the signs, doctor, that you're getting close to the edge and maybe burnout is around the corner?
This is a very important question, and I want to really take my time to be very clear about this. You can ask yourself several questions that may give you a sign that you are getting close to burnout. Are you so exhausted that you're having trouble sleeping? Are you struggling to handle the demands of too much to do in too little time? Are you feeling tired all the time and people are telling you you're looking tired all the time? Are you having more headaches and stomach issues? And do you find yourself more short tempered, and have you lost your sense of humor? And are you feeling unsettled and nervous? And do you feel that you have lost who you are because you have lost the work and the life that you love? And finally, does life seem to be leading you instead of you leading it? But I want to also be very clear that certain of the symptoms I've just mentioned of burnout can also be seen as depression. But burnout is mostly about work and about task, whereas depression is about other areas of your life. And typical symptoms of depression can include low self-esteem, hopelessness, and suicidal tendencies. And these are not typical of burnout. So remember, burnout, people with burnout do not have depression, but having burnout can increase your risk of depression. So please don't self-diagnose and reach out to a member of the mental health profession.
We often hear about these sort of radical burnout recovery strategies and stories, or maybe some of us even fantasize about them. People who've like quit their job or moved
Yes.
to another part of the world.
Yes.
But a lot of those aren't really pragmatic options. So what are some less radical strategies that we can employ to keep burnout at bay?
Yes, I agree with you. We all have fantasies for those things, but I don't want to minimize that we still have opportunities to find jobs that may be more suited to us. We still can have we can move within the country, and we can still retire if we have been on the fence if things are getting to us. But most of these options are not there for many of us. So I always say, if you can, the first thing to do is take a break. Take a break, several days vacation, and totally unplug. If you have parental burnout, try to take as many breaks as possible. If you have family or friends, resources, reach out to them. If you are feeling, oh gosh, I can't do this, learn to say no, learn to say I need rest, and also engage in more physical activities, more exercises, get out as much as you can, and engage in some more relaxation practices, and reevaluate what is meaningful and purposeful for you. Because by doing that, the hope is that you could let go of some irrelevancies and redundancies in your life and get more energy for yourself.
This might seem like a paradoxical question, doctor, but the holidays historically have been a time of a lot of busyness and running around, it feels like. But how can we actually use this holiday season as a time to rebuild and recharge so that we don't get to the edge?
I hope that because of the constraints of the pandemic, the celebrations this holiday is going to be scaled back. And because of that scaling back, I hope that we could truly rest, recreate, and recuperate. Because I hope that no one does please don't do any formal teaching of your children. Try not to do as anything. And if you want to continue baked goods and presents, you could still do your curbside delivery, but really try to engage in shoring up your energy and taking it slow and resting. We can commemorate and remember all the losses and the loved ones that we have, and we could also engage in gratitude about the times they shared with us and what we have to be thankful for. And we know that according to the news about the vaccines, that this may be changing in 2021. So maybe we can engage in some gratitude about where we are and where we're going. But the most important thing is for us to unplug and relax and try to do as little as possible.
Adisa, thank you so much for your wise advice. I think so many of us needed this today. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, and happy holidays to all.
To you too. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay.